Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to tell you what I think is good and bad in the Soulforge this week, and I'll also look over the new troop and tell you what I think about that. Anyway, I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Anyway, the weekly event troop is the Topaz Giant. 400 glory gets you this White Helm Epic. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, then converts 5 purple gems to yellow giant gems. So it can be good if they work in your favour. Traits are summon a light storm at the start of battle, which is yellow. Reduce damage from skulls by 50%, which is good, makes this viable in first place. And create a yellow giant gem when I take skull damage. So you can kind of use that skull damage reduction in your favour by having this in first place, almost letting people hit you, then creating a yellow giant gem, which hopefully can work out for you. But not too bad. The spell can work for you and against you, so you do have to be careful with that. But hey, it's a free troop, effectively just for 400 glory. Get it anyway. Always take it up to Mythic if you can. This means you can get this fully ascended, fully powered up, which is going to affect your power level kingdoms in the long run, which is completely always worth doing. Right, now let's take a look at what kind of score I would give this. I think it's the same as the other ones. It's about a 6 out of 10. Can be useful, not outstanding. Right, let's take a look in the Soulforge. Oh, whilst you're here, if you've got enough glory, grab Spoils of War. Always good to grab those event keys. Event keys, it's White Helm week this week. This means that if you're missing any of the White Helm mythics, which are Libara, Guard's Avatar, and somebody else, you can have a quick look at that actually. You can check it. Just look by kingdoms, White Helm. Sort by base rarity. Show all. The Arc Diva, that's it, that's the other one. So if you're missing any of them, it's a really good chance to grab one by spending your event chests. Them ones there. If you're missing any of those mythics and you fancy getting one, you can do that. Alright, let's jump into the ye old Soulforge. Let's take a look at the weapons first, and the first one up is the Staff of White Helm. Removes all yellow gems, deals damage to them based on your magic to an enemy, boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from White Helm, or if the battle is in White Helm, deal double damage. So this is one of those sort of anti-White Helm weapons that uses red, so it's not affected by the fact that it removes yellow. Some people, especially newer players, are going to wonder why there's any benefit to removing a certain colour, like this one, yellow, with no effect. And the thing is, White Helm enemies, their main colour they use is yellow. And often you're going to have a lot of yellow mana using teams against you if they're from White Helm, or the battle's in White Helm. So by removing that colour, you're making their job a lot more difficult to get the colour which they crave the most. So if you're against a White Helm team, or it's in White Helm, this can be effective, but it is quite situational for that. So it's not essential, but it definitely can be useful. Angel of Death. Death mark an enemy and deal damage to them boosted by yellow gems. So yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's a bit annoying that it does damage to them first and death marks, because if they die from death mark, then the damage was kind of wasted because they died anyway. What the heck? Anyway, collectible, not essential. What else we got? All these ones are here all the time. They've been gone over in other Soulforge videos, but we have a Doomed Scripture. Deals scatter damage, again based on your magic, with a +4 per tempering level boost. Then create a mix of 6 yellow and skulls for every yellow enemy. Give 3 magic to all allies, and if the enemy has a doom, give 5 more. So the cool thing about this weapon is you can use it yourself in your own attack team if you're against a team of all yellow opponents. But these are most often seen in Guild Wars on a defense on Yellow Day, because if the opponent's team is set up correctly, and that means using all of that color of the day, so on a yellow day, the other team, you kind of know they're going to have all yellow teams on all yellow allies. So you can make your defense on this, knowing that you're going to create the most amount of skulls possible. So yeah, very good on Guild Wars defense. Can be easily countered by entangling the first troop with a root trap or something like that. But again, you can counter the thought of that counter by having someone in your team that causes a cleanse immediately, like Sister Superior. So yeah, a lot of potential in that. I do like the Doomed Scripture a lot. Divine Protector. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by Divine Allies. So the more Divine Allies you have in your team, the higher the damage. Then create a mix of 6 red and yellow gems for each Divine Ally. So you need a whole team of Divine Allies to make this work properly. It does use green and blue, so it's not going to self-charge. You are creating this and that mix of colours for other allies in your team. So you need your other allies, at least 2 of them, to use red, yellow or both. But yeah, can certainly be very effective. But not essential. Just good if the situation demands it. Guardian Hammer. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by White Helm allies. This is very similar to the other one, but with a different mix of colours. Then create a mix of 6 yellow and brown gems for each White Helm ally this time. So the same kind of rules apply as the other one. This uses purple and green, but creates yellow and brown. So you need those colour troops in your team for this to be effective. But if it does, maybe go for it. Fist of Heaven. Really do like this weapon. Use this in various teams. It's explodes a load of yellow gems, so you get some really good mana from this. Then it grants a random status effect to all Divine Allies. I often cast that second part of the spell as a bonus. If you don't have Divine Allies, it doesn't matter. If you do, then it is literally a bonus. It's better if you can have Divine Allies, but you can use this weapon in literally any team that you can find it useful in, because it also has a summon. So regardless of Divine Allies or not, you're always going to explode a load of yellow gems, charging up your team, and also have a summon at the same time. Really good. Love Fist of Heaven. And is that it? Yes, it is. Alright, now on to the troops. We will start at the mythics and then just briefly go over the legendaries. So again, same as the other ones. We're not going to go over all the ones that are here all the time. First one up is Scorpius. Excellent troop when used with the correct team. Deals damage to the last 2 enemies, and the damage is lethal on any poisoned enemy. That is a big deal. That is, okay, if you're going to kill them anyway because they're poisoned, that is a point. The initial damage is kind of wasted, but yeah, the idea with this is to get those bottom 2 troops poisoned first and then cast Scorpius. And there are various ways to do that. The easiest way is to have another mythic in your team, which is Urielai. She will poison all enemies on a 4 match. But you can do it in other ways with non-mythics too. Is it Sister of Nightmares? I think her spell, she poisons the last 2 enemies. But there are various ways to do it and make Scorpius a absolutely killer, quite literally, a mythic. Very good indeed. High mana cost, but there are ways of getting him charged up nice and quick. Who's next? Doomclaw. Yeah. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by enraged allies with separate 25% chances to devour the next enemy above and below. Now, I don't know. Depends upon your game style, your play style, I suppose, but I'm personally not a fan of these percentage chances to do pretty much anything. The devs have a thing with these maths in this in this game, which they never quite seem right on these percentage chances, unless it's on the enemy's chance to summon a bandit or a giant spider on about 30 or 35%, and that seems to happen all the time. But this kind of thing just doesn't seem right. I don't know. I've tried this many times, and 25% chance is 1 in 4, and with a devour to get the enemy above and below, you should be getting that, now and again, at least once every 2 or 3 casts, and it just doesn't seem to happen very much. So, not a fan of Doomclaw. Sorry, mate, your claw is doomed. Death. Death marks all enemies and deals a mediocre amount of scatter damage, but it is boosted by his life, so it can go up. But it's still not great. There's a hell of a lot of troops now which are immune to Death Mark, and there's lots of really easy cleanses in the game now as well. So yeah, death is not too great, and the traits aren't anything fantastic either. Yeah, sorry mate, you ain't that good. But I do like your artwork. That looks pretty cool. Anyway, Plague. Eliminate 32 points or magic based points of a random skill from all enemies, poison and disease them. So again, this is a poor spell for a mythic. Yeah, that's just not good. Not good. These, apart from Scorpius, this is a bad bunch of mythics so far this week. So if you've already got Scorpius, you're going to be saving your diamonds, I think. Enemies lose 3 skill points on 4 or 5 gem matches. Impervious. Yeah, nothing great. Okay. Oh, is that it? That isn't it. That's M3 and Scorpius. Wow. That is a bad bunch of mythics this week. Blimey. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the legendaries quickly. Despond. This is actually quite useful. I quite like this troop. Deals damage to an enemy equal to their attack. So if you're on a high level game and the attack is really high on the enemy, then you're going to deal a lot of damage to them, and then deal the same damage to all enemies above them. So you ordinarily cast this on the troop that as low as possible to get more damage. But if, for example, the troop second from bottom has got really high attack, like it's been boosted somehow, then you'd cast it on them to deal that damage to the enemies above them. And it has a summon as well. Pretty good. Third trait is handy too. Drain 3 mana from a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. That can take mana away from someone who was just about to cast. That can be really useful. Divinia. Absolutely superb legendary troop. Red and yellow explodes all red gems, creating mana for the team, cleanses all allies, and gives everybody a bunch of life at the same time. So that's a mana generator, a cleanser, and a life giver all in one. Divinia on red and yellow day is really awesome in Guild Wars, like it a lot. And that third trait as well, absolutely superb. Cause a random positive status effect on a random ally on 4 or 5 gem matches. Like, this is where the game is strange sometimes, because Divinia for me is better than those other 3 mythics. Scorpius is great, but this troop as well is on her own is better than those other 3 mythics. I would rather have Divinia than those other 3 mythics, put it that way. Really good. Who's next? Borealis. Not too bad. Freeze all enemies, which can be really effective depending upon who you're fighting. Then deal damage to the weakest enemy, but deal triple skull damage versus frozen enemies is one reason why this is good, because you get the freeze, create some skulls, and do triple skull damage. And it's pretty tanky in first place too, because it reduces damage from skulls by 65%. Pretty nifty. Was that it? Or was there one more? One. Oh, Umberwolf. So irrelevant, I kind of skipped over it without thinking. Deal damage to the first 2 enemies and place Hunter's Mark and Death Mark on them, then transform into a Nosferatu. And creates a Dark Storm at the start of every turn. I don't know, I don't like it much. I don't like that fact that it transforms every time. There probably is a use for it somewhere. There usually is, it's just that nobody's stumbled across it yet or bothered to try and find out. But yeah, Umberwolf, not particularly essential for me. Right, so who is my coveted mythic of the week? Is it the mighty rubbish Plague? Is it the astonishingly powerful rubbish Death? Is it the incredibly reliable death-dealing Doomclaw rubbish? No, it's got to be Scorpius. That chance to just kill the last 2 enemies when you get the poison going on the last 2 is absolutely superb. I may show a team on this later on this week, how that works. Decent mythic. A terrible bunch of mythics this week all around. The other 3 are terrible, but Scorpius is actually really, really good. So Scorpius was a very easy choice for my mythic of the week this week. I have my world event team coming up after this video, so be sure to check that one out a little bit later on. But thanks for watching this video, really appreciate it. click that like and subscribe button if you have not done so already. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you again next time. Bye for now.